Hi, welcome to BlindOwl Outdoors. We hope you enjoy our channel, and if possible, could you please join our Patreon page? We really need your help. It's been a long, hard road. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to BlindOwl Outdoors. Well, today I'm down here in the personal space. I want to show you a new fire kit. This is a new video for 2020. And after we get done, maybe we'll have time, we'll start a quick fire too. Now, this is a simple bag. It was $6. It has a nice little belt loop on it. You could carry it on your hip. This is more of a survival, for your survival bag or something like that kit. This is a comprehensive kit. For me, it's too heavy for the belt. I'm always seem to overpack things, so I'm going to go look for another bag a little bit smaller than this, and try to put a little bit less in there and more tinder, and make it quite a bit lighter. And I think maybe just two ways to start a fire. But this is what's inside here. First, there's a hank of paracord. And we'll just go through this whole thing here and show you everything that's in here. And this is kind of a bulletproof fire kit. This is guaranteed for many fires, many fires. There's a good enough for several emergency fires if everything was wrong. And let me see all this stuff I got in there. A little bit too much, I think. A couple of things I'd modify too for carrying. I'd probably carry a I'll go and do it as we get going here. Okay, that's everything out of this bag. Alright, what I started with is you need to have a knife. Now, I would go with some sort of a solid blade knife. You can find one that would fit in a little bag. Instead, I have a folding knife here. This is a very old knife I brought from America. It's just a folding camping knife. It has a fish scaler on it. Holds an edge like you wouldn't believe. Says made in Taiwan. Kind of a butterfly style, but it's not a flip open one. Very handy knife. Very solid. Something I would recommend to have, anything like that. Okay. Your fire kit, you have to have ways to start a fire. The easiest way to start a fire is with cotton or something like that, batwood, jute twine, whatever. So you need a ferro rod and some sort of a striker. Now, for weight, this striker is pretty heavy. If you could find a light striker or find a rod that came with a striker that's a piece of a hacksaw blade, or have a piece of hacksaw blade instead, would probably be better. But this one here, if you can see this out here, this is a very hot sparker. This is the blade out of a planer with a little bit of dip rubber on it for a grip. But that's very important to have a good ferro rod. I think for my bag that I would carry on my side all the time, if I just want to start a couple fires if I was out walking around, I think I'd carry a smaller ferro rod. This is more for emergencies. This is if you're going to get stuck out in the woods for a long time, you're guaranteed 1,000 fires out of it, no problem. Other thing you have to have a lighter. Now, I have jute twine wrapped around here. It's good for at least one good fire. The second reason I have the jute twine wrapped around there is because I got it jammed underneath the button so it can't get discharged, which is very important, so you know that it's there when you need it. Another thing I have here is I have this opens up, I have to cut it open. This is a magnesium rod. Get over here a little bit, you can see that very good. This is a real light magnesium rod, almost pure magnesium. I got this off of Lazada for like $2. I've seen other styles, ones with little ferro rods on them, stuff like this. This is the nicest one I've ever found. Should be real easy to scrape off, and we'll make a test with that later. And again, don't ever go in the field without testing your gear. So I would definitely make a test on this before I actually put this in my bag. Another important thing to have with you is jute twine. Now this is a piece of jute twine folded back and forth, and then twisted up in the reverse twist method. Makes it a real nice solid little rope, compact. There's enough jute twine there for 20 fires easy. And that'll take a spark from anything. That'll take a spark from a worn out lighter, no problem. Cotton rounds are good to have, or cotton balls, doesn't make a difference. I've got a bag of cotton balls right here. And everything's squashed down hard, and you got the air out of it to make them as compact as possible. In here, I have strips of birch bark, which are guaranteed for a fire. If you scrape those, they'll take a spark from anything. You get a small fire going with your lighter and put a piece of birch bark in it, it'll take off like it's covered with gasoline. Birch bark burns wonderfully. That's something I'd recommend. Have if you can. Got a little piece of inner tube. I've never really used inner tube much, but I've had a lot of people tell me they're great. Being attacked by mosquitoes down here. And this right here, this is something that I kind of invented myself. This is a guaranteed, oops, these cheap bags come apart wrong. This is a guaranteed fire starter right here, no matter what, as long as you have a knife or something. This is a piece of fat wood, completely covered with wax and wrapped with jute twine. So the jute twine can't get wet. You undo the, scrape some of the wax off, pull some of the jute twine up, loosen that up, take some slivers off of the fat wood, and I guarantee you this will start a fire with a spark. No questions asked, even in the worst weather. This is absolutely perfect. It's one of the best things I've ever made. And it also has a little lanyard on it. You can clip it on your belt if you wanted to, but it's just in my kit. Okay. For a fire kit is, for me, is an emergency thing. So I'm going to have several ways to start an emergency fire if I have to. Also stuff just to start a regular fire. For a regular fire, I'd use a couple pieces of cotton probably. I'd make some slivers off of, I got 3 pieces of fat wood here. It's very rich smell. Very, very nice stuff. You can take shavings off it. You can make feather sticks out of it. Splinters off it, whatever you want. They burn like crazy. They're great. That's how I'd probably start a fire just for any occasion. In very bad situations, an emergency situation, what I bring for that is I bring a little bitty package of, it's like a sealant for nails and stuff in the roof. It's a black sealant. It burns like crazy. It takes a slight little spark. And again, I would smear this all over some damp wood, and I'd light it with my lighter, and I'd stack my other wood on top of it. By the time this burns off, the other stuff should be drying up. You should have a fire. So this is cheating by most bushcrafters' senses, but this isn't for bushcraft. This is for emergencies. I would never use this. I've tried it before, practiced with it, it works perfect, but I'd never use this unless it was a real emergency. And again, when it's an emergency and you need to get your family warm or yourself warm, you use what you have to use, for sure. The other thing I brought along in my pack, which is another great aid for, oh, these things are just hard to get open, are these waxed sawdust things. And this is a old-time recipe I used to use, but our friend Judd back in Tennessee, he gave me a little better method for it. And the fact of cutting them up into nice little square pieces and that make them so much easier to carry. So what I do with this, I would just break one of these all up, put it underneath like a piece of, on top of a piece of cotton or something like that, And once that got going, that'll burn for 15 minutes, one of those. You know, they're fantastic. Guaranteed fire starter. Now you don't need, again, this, you can see this kit is kind of overkill. There's many different ways to start fires, many different ways to keep fires going under different conditions. And that again is because this is more of a survival kit to where you could rely on it no matter what. So always carry ready to go tinder bundles. In here is 2 little pieces of fat wood, 6 feet of jute twine broken up, and some bamboo shavings and a little pinch of loot to help keep an ember if you get one going. That's a guaranteed fire. Maybe 2 fires for sure if you had to use it. You know, you can't get any better than that. And I'm carrying 2 of those in my pack at all times. And if you're really smart, you'd have 1 in your fire kit, you'd have 1 in your pack, have another one in your hip pack or wherever you're in your pocket. That way, if you ever got separated, you'd always have a way to start a fire. Another good way to start a fire, of course, is with a magnifying glass. And here I have this isn't the best magnifying glass I ever had for a couple reasons. One, it's very heavy. It's very, very heavy. This is a lens off of a telephoto, old telephoto lens. It didn't work anymore. But this makes the finest, smallest dot I've ever seen of any magnifying glass I've ever had. And it's absolutely wicked. I mean, it's wicked, absolutely wicked. And I see what I'm missing here in my kit. I see this right now. Is I'm missing some char cloth. You should always have some char cloth with your magnifying glass, and I don't have any here at all. So that's a mistake. Another thing that would be smart to have in here, if you could fit it in here some way, would be to put some of this stuff in like an Altoids tin, like your cotton rounds, your cotton balls, and some jute twine, and a bunch of char cloth. And then you'd also have a tin if you needed to make more. So that is basically and I put a piece of cotton round on both sides of the magnifying glass just to help keep it from getting scratched if possible. But it's in a bag, so it won't get scratched anyway. But always try to take care of your stuff if you can, as well as possible. Make sure nothing's rubbing on it. Like you don't want to put this next to this. You know, put this surround this with cotton and stuff. Because again, a magnifying glass is a nice thing to have with you because it's not using any of your resources. You know, it's just you're using the sun. Now here's a piece of. Let's see what I'm seeing here. Can I see right here? Yeah. Let me set this stuff down then a little bit. Here's a piece of birch bark. Here's a piece of birch bark and a piece of fat wood. And here's the knife. So let's open this up, lock it in, and just take a few slivers of fat wood. Doesn't take much. Can make it real nice fire. And with fat wood, you can also scrape it and get enough little scrapings like that. The little dust here, that will also catch a spark too because this is just so flammable. And then you have a piece of birch bark, and for the birch bark, all you do on that is also just scrape it back and forth a little bit to rough it up. And that will usually take a spark. Not always, but usually take a spark. And the secret is don't be in a hurry when you're doing something. Just try to just take your time. And again, what I like to do with the birch bark is I like to cut a piece off of it, and then use this here as this will be what I'm going to use to catch a spark. And again, if I needed to get a fire going, I would use a piece of cotton. A piece of cotton will always take a spark no matter what. All right. And I have a little bit of fat wood here, and then I'll actually use this piece of birch bark kind of as a match. So I'll take my ferro rod, and again, always make a couple test sparks so you know that it's working. I'm just going to put that on the birch bark. You can see it starts instantly. Now, get your next piece going, just in case you want to sustain the fire or whatever. And then what I would do is I would just put a little fat wood down here, get this going a little better here. A little fat wood, a little birch bark. I mean that would be the start of a good fire. I'm telling you. If you had proper kindling and stuff, that would start any pile of nice shavings or grass or whatever. So, you know, having a fire obviously is very important. It's good for security, just good for peace of mind. Of course, it's essential when you're cold or wet. But that's all I have for now. Please click like and subscribe. You can contact me anytime at BlindOwlOutdoors@gmail.com. And enjoy your fires. I know I do. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching. Take care.